beginning, and you can see this in nearly all of my conversations, people only want to focus on Natalie. Even my own friends, when I try to explain to them what's going on, they want to tell me, oh, well, Natalie's killer was found. Like I didn't already know that. They only want to focus on the female in the story. Only the female matters. Only her slander matters. None of the evidence that it's slander matters to them. It's kind of like when I talk about the ambiguous stories, the ones that they use to try to find out what bias you hold. These ambiguous stories, they're written in a way where you basically infer what it is that you want to infer with it. It's written in such a way that you get to decide how you want to interpret it, and how you interpret it shows your bias. Like if the story, it explains a situation where someone was abused, it doesn't necessarily say who. Now, you know there's a gender assignment. Some of those people are male and some of them are female. And of course, when you tell the story, they assume the gender roles generally right off the start. Well, this is a male role and this is a female role. The abuser is the male role. It's a physical abuse situation, so we're going to assume that the male is the abuser and the female is the victim. But it's an ambiguous story. It doesn't say which one's the victim. And that's the thing with so many of these people. After years and years and years of, oh yeah, I'm your friend, I'm your friend, I'm your friend, blowing me off, sharing nothing, they want to show me that even though they know me and they didn't know Natalie, they only want to focus on the Natalie. They don't want to focus at all on any of the abuse that I have had to go through before or since, including their ambiguous assumptions. Am I using that word wrong? One of y'all want to look that up in the dictionary and see if I'm using ambiguous in the wrong way? Or if maybe I'm using the wrong word? I'm sure y'all know what I'm getting at here. There's a lot of people that say, well, you know, I'll help to share Natalie's story. Well, here's the thing. Natalie's story ended. It ended December 29th of 2017. The story I need to tell is the story of us. Us. Not just Natalie, not just me. You're involved in this too. You're one of the people who sent me a friend request after Natalie died. You sent me that friend request specifically because Natalie died, because of the things that you heard about Natalie. And people, even my own friends, show me that I don't matter in this scenario. When they want to continue to, oh, well, they found her killer. I'm aware. Or oh, you just need to let it go. That's the thing. You're only focusing on Natalie. You're not looking at any of the consequences for me. You're not looking at any of the abuse that I'm going through. And when I get a hold of you, like you said to do, you treat me horribly for doing as you asked. Not okay. Now I got a video that I'm going to be making private of the lady whose daughter was missing. She was freaking out because she was afraid her daughter was dead. Her abductor is somebody that she knows. And apparently, because of not wanting to spook the predator, I'm going to take that video down. It's going to be made private, not taken down entirely. And the reason that it's being made private is so that it doesn't spook the person who stole Stephanie's daughter. As far as this is a term that many of us use that have had to be involved in this as poor people. Alright, actually it doesn't matter. It's not important. What is important is that the lady who got a hold of me, she was freaking out because she was afraid her daughter was dead. And now that she knows her daughter's not dead, she was just stolen, it's a much different story. And hopefully it becomes nationwide. Hopefully it's something where she's able to get her daughter back, and hopefully get any help that she might need. She wanted to make some insinuations and inferences this morning that really pissed me off. And you can hear those in the video that I made. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely more interested in finding her daughter than I am in my own personal bullshit, but I'm still fucking pissed off at that point. Yes, I was still pissed off at Alicia Bollinger when I tried to help find her. Yes, I'm still pissed off at Bobby Forrest, and he's been missing for a while. I'm not pissed off at David and Katie Saltzman. They didn't pull that bullshit. They legit went missing. They legit had a fire outside of Beaverton, Oregon. Legit lost their place. Legit ended up homeless. And I'm afraid because they got kids. Where are their kids at? Are their kids safe? Are their kids in the system? See, that's one of the biggest things when you know children who are in an abusive situation, but you also grew up in the system and you know how much worse it can get. So you have to tell yourself, all right, law of averages here. What are the chances that if I call this in, they'll get a good foster home? What if they get a bad foster home? What are the chances that at a bad foster home, they'll still get treated better than this? With Amy Kalina Kingery's kids, when I was in Rawlins, Wyoming with Brianna Ingersoll, and Brianna Ingersoll was supposed to be watching them kids, and she was too fucking drunk and too busy watching Bates Motel, too busy getting into her true crime thing. She also said that she couldn't watch the stuff about me because it pissed her off. She said, if I listen to that, I'll end up breaking my phone. All right. Imagine what it's like for me having to go through that. And people ask me, well, have you written it down? Yes, I have. I've written it down repeatedly. I've got so much stuff written. How much of my stuff has been stolen? That's what really needs to be paid attention to. And the amount of time that it took people to take a look at the situation, how much of this evidence was lost, stolen, missing, or destroyed? I mean, there's the stuff that obviously is going to end up missing because every time you move, you always forget something. Or you leave with the intention of coming back, and then life happens and you don't get to go back. Situation with Dallas is pretty fucked like that. What I'm pissed off at is the people who said they were going to help and then planted themselves on my Facebook and just sat there for years. And I reach out to them for help. Hey, you offered. Why haven't you? Why haven't you? And then they want to use other people's excuses. Well, you did this and you did that. Well, excuse me, he says, you knew I did those things when you sent me that. I told you I did the things that I did. I didn't hide it. Go back through our messages, the stuff you're throwing in my face as if I pretended those things didn't exist. If you read what I typed at you, you realize I did. A lot of people wanted to throw in my face stuff that I needed them to come forward about, as if they had done me a favor by not coming forward about that. Case in point is Christine Bouhit's ex. His name is Ed Simmons. He's a good father. I'm not going to deny him that. However, I needed him to come forward and admit that I did plan on going and seeing him on that trip to Virginia. I needed Sage to admit to the fact that he was involved in that situation the whole time. I mean, he was trying to send my birthday present to Natalie and Alicia's house, and Natalie and Alicia told me to. Well, why don't you have him just send it to my mom's house? Okay. Did I ever get it? No. He said he sent it. They never returned it. So they must have opened it. Or maybe it's still sitting there in Chesapeake, Virginia, in a closet or on a table or in a drawer somewhere there. With that $20 the Sage sent me sitting in an envelope. He blocked me or unfriended me within 24 hours of Natalie disappearing. All the people who were involved in the situation wanted to hide, wanted to pretend I don't exist and they didn't know me over something that never happened. And these people's testimony showed that it didn't happen. Well, at least it would if they'd have given it instead of making me record it and post it on YouTube. There's a lot of the victims here that their voices will never be heard. And there's a lot of people that the only place they'll ever get to hear their mother's voice is on my channel. Christine Buhit. Her son doesn't even know what the sound of her voice is. But if he ever wants to know, there's conversations with her recorded on my YouTube. If Rand Ingersoll's sons want to hear her voice, they'll have to come to my YouTube and hear the conversations with her. It's not happy, loving experiences that are recorded, though. There's at least half a dozen of the people that are recorded on my YouTube channel in conversations are dead now. There's a lot more that are dead than that, but most of them just outright ignored me. Pretended I didn't exist or I just didn't matter. Thing is, it's not Natalie's story that needs told. It's the story of us that needs told. The story of Caitlin Tatum. The story of Becca Lott. The story of Stephanie Larkin. There's the old guy. I'm going to show you guys this guy. He sends money to a lady a lot. He comes out and he panhandles every day. He tries to make $100 a day to send to her. He has $100. He counts his money, counts 100 out of it, and anything on top of that he saves for him. He buys Nordstrom Rack cards and a bunch of other cards to send her. He's going to panhandle right now. It's before Christmas. This is the only decent panhandling for guys like us. We're older males, either bearded or grayed. He also knows he's getting took sometimes, and sometimes he's like, well, she keeps telling me she loves me, and she said she'll send me some money, and I tell her no. And maybe that's him just trying to sell it off that he's not getting played. He's smarter than that. You may be smarter than that, but you still want to be loved, don't you? If I knew what my fork was, I'd be eating. With these folks who claim to be my friends, in 6 years, they never came forward publicly. They never came forward to the courts or to the police. The ones who claim that they did have no proof of it, and they didn't do it with me, or there would be proof. There's a lot of evidence that I have that shows that these people who claimed that they would help me, the things that they claimed that the cops did that are illegal as fuck, I have proof of it. But they don't help me to turn it in, and when I go in alone or have to make the calls alone, well, it makes it worse. It allows this government that you guys complain about, who deprives you of your rights. You say they don't like black people, and they don't like women, and they don't like Mexicans, and they don't like these people, and they don't like those people. They don't like anything except money and power, okay? So if you want to pretend that it's because you're black, chances are pretty good that it's also, and more likely so, that it's because you're broke. Skin color is a determining factor for many people and their assumption that you're broke. So is the clothes that you wear. We've got a lot of people who like to dress beyond their class and beyond their means. They working at 7-Eleven but want to have the Louis Vuitton bag. That don't make no fucking sense to me. You tell me about the important things in life. Well, those things are important to me. It doesn't matter how badly you fucked up, how horribly you treated me. When your kids are missing, and that's what's important. They'll find your kids. When it comes to Natalie's story, a lot of people wanted to get involved in Natalie's story and stick their nose in it and offer to help and offer to do a lot of things, but then their own personal lives were too busy. Turned out most of those people were lying about what was going on in their personal lives. If you want to be angry with me, you're allowed to be. Just keep in mind, you're angry with me for telling the truth. I'm angry with you because you didn't. You're angry with me because you want to believe slander, because you're sexually biased, you're gender biased. You want me to make special reparations for you, and special appointments for you, and special thises and special thatses, and all sorts of other special things for you. But are you doing those things for me? Did you send me a friend request and offer to help me, and then I end up being the one doing all the helping? Did you tell me that you care and you're going to do something about it, and then you just want to argue about how literally nothing is going to do any good? How about we try following the protocols? Because those actually do work if you work together. None of my predators would have gotten away with this if I'd had one friend, just one friend, who actually gave a shit about me. But I didn't. And I still don't. What you're missing out on when you make it all about Natalie is everything that I am going through, everything that I have been going through, everything that I continue to go through. You blow off every single piece of abuse that I have endured over this by making it about Natalie. You want to blow me off by saying, oh, well, they found Natalie's killer. I'm not telling you about who killed Natalie. I'm telling you about abuse that I have been enduring and reaching out to you about since before Natalie was killed. Even my friends who know me and don't know Natalie want to make it about Natalie. Natalie. You know they found Natalie's killer. You know you can't bring her back to life. Well, how about this one for you guys? You know that you're not Captain fucking Obvious. You know I'm not mentally fucking retarded. You really think you're the first person to say, hey, have you tried calling suicide hotline? Bitch, don't be stupid, please. How about instead of throwing a bunch of ideas based on fucking ignorance at me, how about you stop ignoring the problem? Root word of ignorance is ignore. Why am I asking and telling these people to go away? Because they're choosing to ignore the situation. They are choosing to manufacture any excuse that they think validates their immoral choices and immoral actions. And just like that guy there, he's got a 30-year-old wife who, he's in his 60s. 30-year-old wife who was living in Washington State. And then she moved to the Philippines. And now she lives in like Holland or Denmark. He just keeps sending her money. He keeps sending her these Nordstrom Rack cards. What he's hoping to get out of it and what she's insinuating and promising him that he's going to get out of it, he's not getting that out of it. He's not here with his wife. She's traveling around, apparently, doing whatever she wants. He's out here panhandling every day, trying to send her money. She's just scamming him over and over again. But what happens if I try to turn it in? Well, I become the bad guy. I'm trying to break up his marriage. They're not actually married, but, you know, that's the way that he sees it in his mind. He also has some guy in Canada who he says is his real dad, and he's hell-bent on killing the guy. Of course, he can't get to Canada. They won't let him out of the country to go to Canada. So, meanwhile, a lot of that is recorded on my YouTube channel. I've ran into the man repeatedly since I got here. The thing is, you're all focusing on the story of Natalie. You're not focusing on the story of Sean. You're not focusing on your part of the story. You're wanting to focus on one part that is complete bullshit, but you never bother to look. Your stuff is all more important than mine. Well, okay, your stuff is more important than mine. We can both agree on that when your kid is missing. But when you're $50 short on rent, and you can't help me unless you get that $50 of rent, and I send you that $50 for rent, I've helped you out how you need pretty fucking quick. Now there's temporary band-aids and your actual needs. If your kids were taken and you're jumping through all these expensive government hoops and you need a few bucks and I send you a few bucks, I understand that that few bucks doesn't get your kids back. That couple extra dollars is not going to get your kids back. It might help you to keep your place, though. That $50 is all you're short on rent, and I send you that $50. You might be able to keep your place, and if you keep your place, then they can't pull what they pulled on Ogre, trying to say that he's a bad parent because he didn't have a place anymore. Well, he had a place until he was victimized by a woman. A very crazy woman who thought that she should get away with it. And an officer that I have a lot of respect for, or had a lot of respect for, by the name of Abel Ramos, victimized the shit out of Christopher Weaver over Lexi Delgado. He went by Ogre, and Lexi Delgado went by Cardboard. Street names and all that. What did Ogre do? After all I did for him, what did he do after Natalie died? Pretend that I don't exist. He was the last person to see Mandy Singer's son before he disappeared. So I tracked his ass down. And I asked him about it. That was before they found Natalie's killer. I found Christopher Weaver before the police found Natalie's killer. And I tried to find Ryan and get any information that I could from him. He told me, I already told everything to the cops. All right. Ryan did eventually turn up. Safe. He was tired of being abused and tired of the alcoholics always talking about doing something but getting drunk every night and throwing tantrums. Yeah, I know Christopher Weaver is not a fun person to be around most of the time. He wants to bitch about his problems in a different way while he had the help that he needed. Now, I'm not going to pretend that Christopher Weaver ended up losing everything, or that he didn't end up losing anything. I'm not going to pretend like he didn't work hard in his own right and that he didn't try. He absolutely fucking tried. I didn't get paid because he was getting fucked. At the same time, where's my recognition for the efforts? You might say, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't do it for the recognition. Well, in this particular case, it is very important. How much of my life did I give up to try to help him out, and he couldn't even tell the truth for me? Couldn't even find out what was going on, couldn't listen. When Lexi Delgado tried to pretend that Christopher Weaver had raped her, I was there that day. She tried to sexually assault me first. No, Chris did not sexually assault her. She sexually assaulted him, and he was weak and he gave in. Then there's Creeper, Rick Marvin. He was accused of rape by an underage girl who he told no. He said, hey, I'm with Kim. I have a kid on the way. I'm happy in my relationship. And you are extremely drunk, and you shouldn't be here. Well, you can't reject a woman in the United States without retaliation. And she retaliated. Same way Lexi Delgado retaliated. Run around and tell a bunch of lies about him. Same thing with John Fox. When Mobley was going to take John Fox up the mountain with a bottle. Let me explain to you what that means. Taking somebody up the mountain with a bottle means you're going to entice somebody up to the mountains where you can get them alone. You entice them up to the mountains by offering them whatever their addiction is. Say their addiction is cocaine or alcohol. You pretend you have it up the mountains, they just got to go up with you. Two of you go up the mountain, only one of you comes back. Now, why is it that Mobley wanted to kill John Fox? Because the rumor was that John Fox had beaten his girlfriend to death. He couldn't have. He'd been incarcerated for over 30 days by the time she was beaten to death. And she was beaten to death. You know why John Fox is still alive today? Because I spoke up. Why is it that people didn't take Ogre up the mountain with the promise of a bottle of liquor? Because I spoke up. Rick Marvin, I didn't know what happened to him. I had to find out years later. I went to Chapel, Nebraska. There's a woman there named Laura Nelson. Turns out Rick Marvin had been staying out at her farm since being accused of rape in Boulder, Colorado. No, Rick Marvin did not rape Elizabeth. I asked people to speak up. See, this all started with the Natalie Bollingers situation, but it did not end there. It has not ended yet. Because while I speak up immediately, when it actually makes a difference, how many of these people helped me? How many of them actually put forth an effort to help me? How many of them bothered to find out what was going on? And how many of them decided instead to tell me to do things I've already done and treat me like shit if I don't do exactly what they want when they want me to? They're going to make me go in alone. And that's the number one thing that I was told not to do. Never go in alone. And that is good, solid, and sound advice. Another piece of sound advice: never trust an adult who asks you to keep a secret. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. Emotionally, I'm in a lot of pain. Physically, I'm in a lot of pain. At least I can function well enough to make a video right now, instead of sometimes I just squeeze myself into a ball and hope the whole world will go away. I just wanted to see my friends and family without being abused. But them rumors prevented me from seeing my friends and family. They prevented me from going to seek help from the people that would have helped me. Could have helped me. People like Joanna Taylor Smith. People like Pierre Byron. Maddie Boa doesn't want to take responsibility for any of this. She spread rumors that I was a rapist and a child molester. Spread rumors that I had threatened to kill Natalie and her family. There's only one person in her family I ever threatened to kill, and that was after she was already dead. But it didn't matter, because not one of you actually cared enough to speak up. Not one of you cared to actually find out what was going on instead of telling me how to think and how to feel. Not one of you tried to make the calls with me. And then you want to throw shit in my face. Like you want me to make a fucking phone call to a fucking shithole that doesn't help at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. No. Between talking to a friend or talking to Suicide Hotline, Suicide Hotline will push you to kill yourself. Your friend might actually do something to help instead of say they can't. Any friend who tells you that they can't tell the truth is not your friend. And that's the point I've been getting across for the last 6 years. All the way going back to Shauna Sinclair. You're supporting a rape society. We're not friends. Go away. Shauna Sinclair is one of the people I reached out to try to start a GoFundMe before Natalie was killed. Miss Peaches as well. If I send you this stuff, are you actually going to share it? Because I tried sending it to you before. I tried sending it to you on multiple occasions. You didn't give a shit. You're not my friend. Go away. Get off my friends list. If I catch you on my friends list after bullshitting me, I'm going to make it very public until you go away. When you say don't blame me, I do blame you. I blame you for looking the other way. I blame you for lying to me. I blame you for bullshitting me. I blame you for what you fucking did. So if I'm blaming you, it's because you're fucking guilty. Enough said. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind. Not even Rebecca Gross-Nickel-Foley. She deserves justice. Not even Sean Schwartz, because I deserve justice as well. And you guys are going out of your way to make everything about Natalie. Yeah, some friend you are.